Hello, kind sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, man.
This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah?
I'm excited. Ever since we finished this movie the other day, I've been wanting to do this one.
Yeah, right. I
It's gonna
want
be
to see it
lit.
again.
I do too, so bad. I was trying to convince Megan to let me go see it again with her the other day.
Yeah. Brooke wants to see it because she didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I had one of the songs from the movie stuck in my head
Yep.
since then.
Yep.
So she's like, "What are you singing?" And I was like, "It's from the movie." She's like, "What movie?" So she wants to see it.
Yep. We're doing Into the Spider-Verse today.
Yep.
But we're just teasing it because we're gonna do the list first, as
We'll
always.
get there.
We're doing 5, so it won't be too long before we get into it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited. What did I say? This is critically average. Last week we missed. Had some crazy stuff going on. Had some. I had a lot of school going on, and it snowed. And it snowed on the Saturday and Sunday that we would normally do it, and it was just kind of crazy. Had some medical stuff going on, but we're all good now. Back to business.
Yep.
So sorry about that. What was I gonna say?
So 1 week off.
Yup. All right. So a little bit of movie news. You told me about this, but Golden Globes have announced their nominations.
Oh, it was the Golden Globes?
Yeah, it wasn't the Oscars. Oscars don't announce till like really late,
Oh,
like January or something. I learned by doing research for this, but Black Panther's in the Best Picture nomination, which I think is sick.
No, that's great.
And I think this movie should be Into the Spider-Verse.
Is there like a time thing? Like it has to come out before this date for it to count for the year?
Yeah, but Vice is in there, and Vice comes out on Christmas Day.
Vice?
Vice.
The Dick Cheney movie?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Best Motion Picture musical. Get this: Best Motion Picture musical or comedy. Vice. So maybe this Vice is something more than I know. Because I
Looks
thought,
good.
yeah, it looks good, but I thought Vice was what's it called?
Like a biopic.
Yeah, me
Kinda.
too. But I guess it's more. I guess it's a comedy.
I could see it being comedy because he did shoot somebody.
True.
You know,
He did.
not that shooting people is funny, but
But it was like a funny moment in the trailer. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, so
or when him and George W. were talking.
yep, George did. And there's a lot of George W. parts that are kind of funny.
Yeah,
And then
they make fun
the
of
rest of the nominations aren't really anything. But that was really cool to see
Black Panther. Yeah,
a movie like that finally get nominated. And nothing really else to say.
is that the first Marvel one? Do you know?
I think so. I mean, besides being for like, what do you call it? Oh shit! Never mind. Into the Spider-Verse is nominated
Oh,
since it's animated, Best Motion Picture.
Oh.
And if it doesn't win that for both,
we riot.
we riot. Because not many other movies. I think the only one that can give it a run for its money is Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet,
Oh, yeah.
which I've heard is really, really good. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say it's not nearly as good. So
Yeah, I'd agree.
okay, well that's good. I'm glad it's got motion picture because Best Picture, and it better get nominated in the Academy too. But
Yeah.
who really cares about the Academy? That's also in the news. What's it called? Kevin Hart was the host,
Oh yeah.
and then they forced Kevin Hart to apologize, and he was like, "No." And then he apologized and simultaneously quit the Oscars at the same time, which is like a pretty badass move if you ask me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, listen, I am sorry for those tweets I made 13,000 years ago, but screw you, Oscars. Like, you can't hold me accountable for what I did 9 years ago. Also, you shouldn't have hired me. You should have done your research 1st. You know, if you're gonna dig into me after you hire me, then what the hell are we doing? You know, same thing. Same thing with the James Gunn thing. Like, it's all bullshit.
Oh yeah. Well, like that happens all the time with like athletes now.
Yeah, just leave him alone.
Like whenever something happens, like the guy that just won the Heisman, Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
As soon as he won the Heisman, people started like getting out old tweets of his.
which is BS. It's like so you don't have the magnifying glass on you until you're
Yep.
important, right?
Yep.
It's BS.
Yeah.
Whatever. And you shouldn't be held. I mean, everyone's stupid. Like,
Well, the thing is, he's like 18 or 19 years old right now.
exactly. So the stuff
And
that they're
from
bringing
like
up
6 years ago. Like he's
middle
13.
middle school.
Exactly.
He's in middle school, which we all know. We didn't make the greatest of decisions in middle school,
Yep.
especially on Twitter, I guess. I mean, if I had Twitter in middle school, I probably wouldn't be tweeting out stuff. But if you're one of those people, you're probably ain't putting.
At different times
Yeah.
from us.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy to think about them as like younger than us.
Oh yeah, like
It's
because
weird.
last night I went to the Panthers game, right?
Mhm.
And they were doing like on the thing introducing every player and stuff,
Mhm.
and it was like DJ Moore, 21. I'm like, what
How old's Christian McCaffrey?
his second year, so probably like 23.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, you can find us on
iTunes.
Stitcher. Was Stitcher?
We
the
got
one
rid of
that-
SoundCloud.
Was SoundCloud was the one we got rid of. You can find. Sorry, it's been a minute. Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, and Castos. Okay, let's get into this list. So
All right.
let's go fly through this list so we can get into talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, you wanted to say why we're doing 5 for most of our list now? Let the people know why we're cutting back on our list a little bit,
okay.
just because how time consuming they are.
Yep. True.
So
And we'll do longer because we still want to keep 10 lists, like
Yeah,
10
yeah.
because we like doing 10 lists because that's what I mean. That's kind of what this whole thing's about. Is
Mhm.
because we like to do lists about movie stuff. But one, we're gonna spit out the list before the episode comes out. So this is kind of future proofing. I don't know how many people we have that are making lists, but like if you wanted to make a list or think about your list before the next episode comes out, then you could compare and contrast yours with ours.
yeah,
You know? So at the end of this episode, we'll tell you what next week's list is. And keeping it down to 5 just makes it easier to keep track of.
And when we have a big topic like today,
Like
we'll
today.
do a shorter list. But if we do like the Marvel movies or something, we'll make it a longer list.
Or if we see a movie and we deem it as like not as important, aka Venom.
Right.
So like Venom, we knew coming out of that movie, we're like, we're probably gonna have a hard time talking a lot about this movie, so we'll do a longer list that time.
Right. All right. So the list this week is 5 biggest disappointments / letdowns.
Yeah, in movies and TV.
Movie TVs. I included video games too.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yep.
God, I could have. My whole list could have been video
But I
games.
mean, like, these are like you'll see why.
I think I know what one of them's gonna be.
Oh yeah, you probably should.
I think I do.
All right.
All right.
All right. I'll start it off.
Okay.
All right. So my number 5 is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Oh, I've never seen this movie,
Oh,
but I've
really?
read the book and I love the book.
Well, that's exactly why, because I read the book as well.
Yep.
And I remember, and then watching the movie, I was like, ugh.
Is it garbage?
Yeah, it's real bad.
Oh God.
But
Any specific reason why it's real bad, or is it just kind of bland?
well, it wasn't true to the book very well.
That's-
You know? And the movie in general just wasn't very good.
That's kind of always true. Like they never get the book to movie adaptation like perfect, which I know is impossible because, like for example,
Well, you can't always.
Game of Thrones is a television show, so they have hours and hours and hours and hours to get it right? But then you go read the book, and like for example, I'm 160 hours into the books. That's like multiple days,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm on episode 4 of the television show. I was like, wow, they just pack so much crap
Oh, yeah.
into.
Are you trying to go along with it or something?
No, I mean, I finished the show twice, right? But I just went back and read it, and I just went on because I was curious. I'm like, all right, I've been listening to this book for a long time, and I know I'm nowhere near the end of season 1. Like, where am I on it? And it's just, yeah. So
Right.
Harry Potter does it pretty good. All right, my number 5 is Justice League from
Okay.
last year.
Yeah.
The reason I would say it's a letdown is there was a lot more leading up that said this movie was going to be bad. But the reason I think this one's a letdown is, yes, the expectations got worse as time went on. But when it was first announced, it was like, yes, because it's like all we had was Marvel, right?
Right.
And like I like what Marvel's doing, but the characters on the DC side are better, without a
Not
doubt.
in the movies, but
Not in the movies, but
just characters.
as franchises. You know, like Batman's a much more interesting character. Superman, not my favorite, but a lot of other people like them. And then they have like these secondary characters that are really cool, like Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, Martian Manhunter. You know what I mean? Like we've talked about it, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, and just all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
characters that could be really, really cool.
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit, we're doing it, you know? And they gave out all this list of stuff they were gonna do, and we were playing Injustice at the time, and I was just like, this is gonna be sick. And then it just
Yep.
just got worse and worse as time went
And
on.
it didn't help because, do you remember the day we went and saw it?
Mm-hmm.
We went and saw Thor Ragnarok in the same day. At a different theater.
Oh, we did indeed. We did a double header,
Yeah.
and we actually went to Thor first, which is probably
Did
yeah, we did. We did. Because
Either
we got
way.
done with Thor. Because we said if we went to go see Justice League first, then we probably wouldn't have gone to Thor.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
probably
that.
true. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because we went to Thor. Yeah, that if we would have gone to Justice League first, that would have been bad.
Yeah.
Because we would have been like, ugh. And then gone to the Thor and been like, wow, that was a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's a secondary movie. Yeah. So,
Okay.
pretty bad.
Oh, shoot. Okay. I gotta turn the low power mode off. My phone will just
Keeps turning off.
shut off. Yeah. My number 4 is I actually have 2 video games on here.
Okay.
One's kind of a video game. This is my first one. It is Pokemon Go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was a big letdown for me, too.
Yeah. I remember when it first came out,
Mm-hmm.
it was super fun. Like, I actually, got to walk, like, downtown and where we used to live,
Mm-hmm.
And do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just got boring.
Well, that's the thing about it.
They
is
didn't
it-
really change anything.
Well, I think it started out good because you were catching different Pokemon
Mhm.
all the time. And then it got to the point where, like, if I see another gosh darn Pidgeotto or Rattata,
Oh, like you had to actually go somewhere to get cool stuff.
and even if you went there, you had no guarantee of
Yeah.
getting it. Plus, you're just it's just RNG. Like, you just throw Pokeballs at it, and it's just like, does it catch it? Does it not? Which has always been part of the Pokemon thing. But if you're gonna make me pay for Pokeballs to keep throwing at them, don't make it RNG. Make it
Yeah.
based on skill or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's still kind of lame. Like, and then once you catch them, there's nothing much more to do after that.
No, not really. Because I never did like the gyms or anything.
Exactly.
You know?
But and you'd think the gyms would be cool. They're not. They're really lame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nothing incentivizing you to push further in the game other than collecting. That's
Yeah.
it.
And it could have changed by now, but I'm talking like at time of release and when I was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot different now, but
Because
it was a letdown because it didn't keep up with the hype that it came with.
when it came out, I was working at the pet store, and I would just you know how you would have to walk to do the eggs and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and like it never like counted it every time I tried walking it off,
Oh, because you're just in the store.
Mhm.
When realistically you are moving.
Yeah, I could have walked like a mile that day just going up and down the aisles and
Yep.
back and forth in the store, but it just never counted. It was like, no. Remember that time we actually taped my phone to a ceiling fan?
Did it work?
No, it ruined my dad's fan though. Remember? It
I remember that.
peeled the wood off or whatever.
God, good old times.
It didn't work either.
Yeah, it didn't work.
So
Whatever. Lame game. All right, my
so
number
much potential.
My number 4 is Spider-Man 3. Because Spider-Man 1 wasn't that great. And then Spider-Man 2 was pretty dang good, right?
Yep.
And then
Better.
they announced the third. And back then I was like a kid, and these are only the only superhero movies we really had coming out, right? And so I was super duper hyped for Spider-Man 3. And then they started announcing like the villains that were going to be in it and the trailers and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be sick." And then just awful.
Yeah.
And I can remember as a kid sitting in there like, this isn't very fun. Like I remember I was like, when it first starts and you get to see the symbiote and everything like that, you're like, oh, he's got the black suit and everything.
Yeah.
And then halfway through he's fighting Sandman and I'm just like, why am I excited for this? This is lame. So yeah, it's just not very good.
Yep.
And to this day, as an adult, you actually go back and watch it and you're like, wow, it's really bad. So.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because how good we see Spider-Man. Excuse me. how good we see Spider-Man within the last couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we will.
All right, go for it.
All right,
That's probably what encouraged it to go on the list as well. Because I erased something else off of this list to put it on there.
All right. My number 3 is Suicide Squad.
Oh, God. There it is. Every single week.
Yay! Yeah.
Every single week. For sure, dude.
Because this looked really good.
This is
with
a
the trailers and everything.
This is a case of the trailer company nailing it.
Yep.
And the movie company ruining it.
Yeah.
This movie...
Especially because in the beginning it had Tom Hardy in it. It was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a new Joker. It never impressed, to be fair, but
the Joker has little to nothing to do with the movie. He's
Yeah.
literally there just to be there.
Mm-hmm. And
like, if you can tell me a plot point in which the Joker is entirely vital in that movie, then kudos.
he just breaks Harley out of that prison.
And then puts her right back. She just comes right back. So there's no point in having him there. Just have her be with them the whole time.
Yep. Yeah. And they spent so much time just focusing on Harley and Deadshot in that movie.
True.
It's terrible.
And then they just like they try to like shoehorn some character development to the rest of them at the end of the movie. Like,
well, they go like halfway through the movie until they introduce someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's been on the screen the whole time.
Yep.
But they just go like halfway into the movie and then like this is.
Yeah, you don't
one of them.
You don't learn about El Diablo's like story
Mm-hmm.
until they're sitting in the bar right before the third act.
Yep.
It's like, oh, we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and you're just now getting to it.
Oh, that's actually a cool point. We'll talk about Into the Spider-Verse. I'll write that down.
I think I know what you're talking about.
About waiting so long into the movie to introduce someone.
Mm-hmm.
But
But it can be done right.
Yeah.
But when they've been on the screen for the last 48 minutes and we don't know anything about them and they're just there just to be there, it's dumb. Okay. My number 3 is season 8 of The Office.
Is that when Michael leaves?
Yes.
The first season? Yeah.
No, it's where Michael leaves and they also go to
Will Ferrell?
no, they travel to a different place. They go to like Florida or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they go to Florida.
Yeah, that's what
with
I thought.
the Saber store.
Yeah. And it's just so forgettable. And I watched it once and I'll probably never watch it again. I'll probably if I rewatch The Office, which I've done up to like season 6 or something with you guys, I'll probably just skip right over season 8. Yeah. It's just lame.
That's fair.
And there's no Michael, which is like kind of the heart of the show. And Jim and Pam try to keep it alive as best as they can, you know? It's just kind of like, ugh. It's just not as good. It's not bad though. It's just disappointing.
Oh no, it's still good.
It's a letdown though.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to have the same like love and admiration for that season as everything else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's your number 2?
My number 2. You probably know which one this is.
Ooh, is it a video game?
It's a video game.
Is it Call of Duty?
It is.
It's Ghost.
It's Ghost. I don't think this is too far out to say, but it probably killed the Call of Duty franchise.
Oh, it definitely did.
most.
If you wanna give me a good Call of Duty that's come out after that, besides, yeah, just give me a good one after that, and I'd be surprised.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Black Ops 3. Yeah, the zombies was good.
Yeah. I think that's the best that's come out since then, but it has not reached its peak glory again.
Yeah. Well, especially in our time in lives when we were doing like YouTube montage and stuff.
Yeah.
Clan, you know.
Yeah.
And that was like our peak gaming years.
Absolutely. Because we were in high school, we had so much extra time.
And we're coming off this high of Black Ops 2, which is arguably the best COD.
Yep.
Like 1A, 1B sort of dealio.
Yep.
And then we're like, oh, sweet, new game, and it looks sick. It's by people who made MW2, and
Sledgehammer
made this one. That's right. It was a new one, new creators.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually went to the midnight release of it, and we waited out there for a couple hours to get in line, you know? Even made my dad wait with us.
Yep.
Sucker.
And this is not because, I would say this is not because we thought it was going to be an amazing game.
It's because we were doing YouTube, and we wanted
to be on it as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't drop off the pace.
Yep. And so we did, and then we stayed up like that first night trying to play it, or we were playing it.
Yeah.
But it was just so terrible.
It's bad. It gives you headaches.
Oh, dude.
I had a killer headache after that
next
first
day,
night.
that headache. Oh, man.
Oh,
because they decided to do that where you zoom in, but everything around you.
Yeah, so when you
it's-
scope in, for some odd reason, you could see blurred out around it, but it wasn't quite refined yet. So it just, and we were clans, we were sniping, right? So it was like, it just gave you like the most sickening headache on the planet.
Man. Yeah.
It's a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
And that one map, I despised that.
Octane.
Octane. So like I was like more the editor, right?
Yep.
So I was in charge of like doing color corrections and everything. There was not a single color correction I could put on the entire in my entire library of stuff and what I know how to do. that did not blow that map out. Like, it would just blind you. The map by itself was already blinding.
Because it was like...
It was just
It
desert.
was in like Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's like casinos and stuff.
Mhm.
And
And
it was like Vegas, and so it was just all these buildings covered in sand
Yep.
with sun.
A lot of sun.
So it was just like a natural bright orange yellow to
Yep.
begin with.
So you do anything to it, it just like boom.
Yep.
Which is bad because the rest of the maps are dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you make your... Let's say you made it specifically for Octane. You'd go to another map, and it would just be like this this really dark, contrasty thing. You wouldn't be able to see anything. So
Yep.
it's like, well, what do I do here? You know, you can't change it halfway through. It looks awful. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was...
And that made not just us, but like the entire COD community just go back.
Just go back. They were like, let's just forget that game like it ever existed and go right on back.
Back to Black Ops 2, MW2,
They also-
anything before that.
They also did some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen a Call of Duty do, which is like include like Michael Myers and some
the
weird-
Predator?
Yeah, the Predator and stuff. Like, why? it was so dull and so bland and so like desaturated and just awful. Just an awful game.
Yep.
Yep. All right. My number one is the
You're on number 2.
Oh, I'm on 2? Sorry. My number 2 is Lost, the final season of...
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
so I was too young to watch Lost when my parents started, but the show went on for so freaking long that I actually, like, caught up, because they loved the show so much they had it on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So I would watch it. I caught up with them and then started watching it week by week with them. And so, you know, the final season rolls around. I tell you what, man. You want to talk about some backlash over a final season? That is probably the creme de la creme. It's bad. It's like, why would you make this amazing world, you know, build this amazing story and everything, and then at the end just go, oh yeah, it was all fake. They're all dead. You know, it's like, really? Like, it has no stakes. It has no emotional like nothing. You know. When an animated Spider-Man movie can give you more emotional beats
Oh my God,
than
man.
the final season of an 8-year-long show,
Yeah.
I mean, get out of here. So, yeah, that's just bad. All right, what you got, number 1?
My number 1 is Batman vs Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's in the same vein as Justice League. I
Yeah.
just went for the bigger one, and you went for the one that killed it.
This one we didn't have anything prior to it really besides Man of Steel.
Yep.
You
And
know,
it's...
and Batman looked great. Superman was good and killed a bunch of people, but you know, trying to think. And we got Wonder Woman, which looked good. Trying to think. Even the trailers weren't bad. You got to see them punch about a bit,
Yep.
you know. And you saw Batman block one of Superman punches in the trailers, you know.
Yep.
So that's like, oh shit. And then I think it all went south whenever they released a trailer that had Doomsday in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well now we know what's going on.
Well,
Or
now
we know the whole plot.
it gives away the plot.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just crammed so much into this.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jesse Eisenberg, you got Wonder Woman coming
Which
in,
was
you
bad, by the way.
got as Lex Luthor. Jesse Eisenberg is and he's bad.
Yeah, that's what
I don't think he's a bad actor. I think they gave him a bad character and script to roll with.
Yep.
They didn't make him Lex Luthor-y. They made him like weird millennial teen.
I think
Lex
he was
Luthor.
just Mark Zuckerberg and Social Network again.
Oh, he was,
Like,
yeah.
but
But
crazy.
bad guy.
But bad guy.
Oh, it was so weird. And just, oh my, if leave it to Zack Snyder to just like take the most important story of any, like Doomsday, the death of Superman, like one of the biggest stories, and just shove it in the first movie of the franchise besides Man of Steel. Like,
Yeah.
really? Plus, we know he's not dead. You have a Justice League movie slated, and the Justice League isn't Justice League without Superman.
Okay.
Is he in the tub? Yeah, he does that. He does. I don't know why he does it.
The thing is, he jumped and then stopped like mid jump, and so he's just hanging over the ledge, like his little fat belly. Hey,
Oh.
sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what they're
Podcast
thinking.
cat. Yeah, and Martha, you know,
Yeah, one word stops him from, you know.
killing him. Mm-hmm.
Plus, what is that true?
It did have the fight scene and the Batman fight scene, which we've raved about. But
I mean, I don't know what it is about that fight scene, but that's a perfect, like, it's just a little. If we ever did an episode
diamond
on
in the rough.
If we ever did an episode on like great scenes in horrible movies, that would be the
Write that down.
that would be the poster child of that topic.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good one. And mine is, this one has a lot of ties to like my life and everything and what I was doing. The final season of How I Met Your Mother just ruined me. It just ruined me because I love that show so much.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It was high school, and it was like what I watched every single night before I went to bed. I'd watch 2 or 3 episodes, and I was just like so excited to get to the final season because they keep, the whole season, the whole show is about how they met their mother,
Yes.
and then they just ruin it with. I don't even know how to explain it. They just like kind of crammed in this story.
Like, how many seasons? Is it 8?
8 or 9, yeah.
8 or 9. So they spent all but the last season be like, who's the mom?
Yep.
And then you finally figure out, you spend like 4 episodes with her.
Yep.
You get to learn
And
about
then
her.
she's
And
dead.
then it skips a future where she passes away.
of cancer. And then he gets back together with Robin.
Yeah, which the whole story was basically is what they were trying to be like. He's meant to be with Robin this whole time.
Which sucks for the mother. Like, it's just bad, dude.
Yeah.
And is it the wedding? Is it the season before that that's all like the wedding?
Yeah, it was Barney and
Robin's wedding?
yeah.
That's bad too. So really it's 2 seasons in a row of complete disappointment, you know? And that final episode, I despise that final episode. It's supposed to be like a nostalgic trip back through everything, and with the French horn and all this, and it's literally eye-rolling, gagging bullshit the whole time.
Yeah,
You're just
it's
like,
it's like they got to a certain point and then they're like, oh crap, we need to change direction or
it's
something.
like, or it's like the studio said, we're not paying for any more, and they're like, oh, okay, you know?
Yeah. Well, I meant like they were on the narrative of me finding Ted's wife and then introducing her. But then they were like, one of the last minute, they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, they were like, no, we want him to be with Robin, so let's flip all this,
Retcon.
and it really like dilutes the previous 7 seasons because you're like, wait, so they went this in depth for every single story beat, but the one story that we actually wanted to hear about the whole time, they blow through in 6 seconds and then go, oh yeah, she's dead of cancer. It's just, it's bad. Okay, all right. Let's talk about a movie we actually want to talk about. How do you feel? I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Elijah,
Yes.
there is a new gold standard for superhero movies.
I would agree.
I think Into the Spider-Verse has taken the bar and risen it to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is incredible. And I'm just going to go out and say I think it's... This is tough. It's my favorite superhero movie of the year. Second favorite movie of the year. First Man is still my favorite movie.
Okay.
Just for different reasons.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? But I think it's my 4th favorite movie of all time.
4th favorite?
4th favorite.
Wow. So I'm actually, I pulled up my list
Yeah.
of favorite movies. Oh, sorry. Just hit the mic. And I'm looking because it's definitely on this list.
Oh.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm trying
Yeah.
to see where to put it. And I got to say, it's number 3.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's... Let's just talk... I mean, let's get into non-spoilers first.
Yeah.
So, it tells the story of Miles Morales, which is cool because I've always wanted to see that.
Yeah.
Ever since they hinted it in
Homecoming.
Homecoming, you know, with Childish Gambino or Donald
Aaron-
Glover.
What's his... Shoot. Is it Uncle Aaron?
Oh, yeah. Is it Aaron? Is that his
the
uncle?
Prowler?
Yeah.
Aaron? I think.
I mean, we see... Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Yep, and so I've always wanted to see Miles Morales. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And this movie is his story, and it has a lot of other Spider-Mans in it, but it focuses on him,
Yep.
which is awesome and hard to do.
Yeah.
And not only does it do that well, focus on his story, it also gives the other Spider-Men / Spider-Women like good ample time and good.
I think
character.
they all got their good moments in this.
And they all got good character development arcs, like all of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's just like, without spoiling anything, like Peter Parker's really good in this movie.
Peter Parker, yes.
Peter Parker is good in this movie. And he plays whoever who did they get to do Peter Parker?
Which Jake Johnson.
Okay,
is
gotcha.
the.
Oh, he's good.
Okay,
and then they got the dad is really good too, and that's I think that's I don't know how to say his first name. Mahershala Ali.
I could have sworn that was Uncle.
Oh, is that Uncle Aaron?
Uncle Aaron, I think.
Okay.
I'll
both of those characters are very, very good. No, you're right. Actually, now I'm sitting here thinking about his voice. That was definitely Ali.
All right, I can tell you. Hold on. The dad. Who was the dad? Jefferson.
I guess.
Okay. It was Brian Tyree Henry.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ultimate Prowler was Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali. There we go. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he was really good in that. Office screen time.
For sure.
What were we talking about?
Oh, we were just talking about it,
right?
Without spoiling it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Because there's a lot to spoil in this movie.
There is.
Like there's a lot of movies that we go see that like we can say a lot of random just a lot of stuff about it, and like Venom for example. Like, let's compare and contrast Venom and this.
These
movie.
are made by the same two people and in the same universe. It's not made by the same, but it's still Sony.
They're made by the same company, but they definitely have someone else behind this movie because whoever's behind this movie cares.
Oh yeah.
Cares and has read the source material vigorously, probably their whole life, I would imagine, and is probably a huge fan of Stan Lee. You know?
Oh, because I mean, he was in this a lot.
Well, he was in this, but like Stan Lee's the guy that brought this to him. So, what were you saying?
The directors, Peter Ramsey, Robert Paraschetti Jr., and Rodney Rothman.
There's 3 directors?
That's what it came up as on their official overview.
That's cool. The other thing I love about this movie is it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, we went to go see it in the Dolby Cinema, which is sick, by the way. But either way, I mean, I didn't even know you could animate stuff like this.
Like, yeah, like it looks like it's straight out of a comic book.
And it's like cell shaded. Sorry, kind of like a Borderlands game,
right?
But like a lot more refined and more pleasing to your eye for a movie. And it breaks all the rules of movies. You know, it adheres to no common. It's not a normal movie since it's animated, so it doesn't have to follow like rules of compositions and stuff. But this movie does nothing normal.
No, like there's nothing like this.
Absolutely, there's no movie to compare this to visually. There's just nothing, ever. And I think that's why I like it so much. And I think I'm kind of sad because I think there's going to be a lot of bad renditions after this.
Oh, like try to copy it
of people that just don't work nearly as hard on it.
Yeah,
you know.
And I was gonna say I'm not gonna. We'll talk about it in spoilers, but this again, I'll have to look at my other list when we did our favorite scenes. It might have one of my favorite scenes of all time too.
True. I'm curious to see which one's your favorite scene.
Okay, because I mean it's the combination of the time in the movie, what's going on in the scene, the music, and just what it looks like. And it's just, I got chills when it was happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's
and I have that song stuck in my head like the last 2 days because of it.
I have, you know how like runners, when they run for a certain amount of time, they get like a runner's high. It's like, you know, where you're at like pure euphoria and you don't want it to end.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes in movies, where if I can really get myself into a movie, and I will just, like, time just stops. I don't care where I'm at, what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This movie basically did that in the first 5 minutes, and I never got out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is because I was literally like, I did not want it to end. I was like, nope, don't end. Like, I knew when, you know how movies do. They boil down and everything. You know when it's coming.
Yeah, because, there's the end fight time.
Exactly.
You knew it was wrapping up soon.
Mm-hmm. Which makes this movie sound cliche, like it follows a normal
we can
narrative.
talk about that in spoilers.
Yeah, but
something.
And I was just like, when it's coming to an end, I was just like, no. I don't want it to stop. Like, it's so good. I could have watched 4 hours of this easy.
Oh, dude.
It's just so good.
I just want to see it again already.
And if they said, if they came out and said we're making another one, which if you haven't gone see this, please go see it so it gets the money that it needs to get another one.
Yeah. Because this is a tough time to make a lot of movie.
Mm-hmm. And I think this movie has flown under the radar because it really, I haven't seen it on any trailers like during the movie theater, which I think is where a lot of people figure out what they're going to go see next.
Yeah.
I mean, it may not be for me and you since we're up on stuff, but for just like, older people that are just going to the movies, I think that's where they get their exposure to it.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? What was I talking about? Oh, if they announced that they're going to make another one, but it's going to take them 4 years, I'd be fine with it. I'm like, take as long as you need,
I'm at it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. You got anything else you want to say before we just get into spoilers? Because I have a lot I want to talk about, but I just can't.
I'm just trying to filter through all my talking points. I don't know, man.
Well,
we'll just get into spoilers.
Let's just get, but go see it. If you haven't gone and seen it, don't listen to this. Go see it. It's worth every dollar that you spend on it.
Even no matter how. Yeah. Because we went to Dolby and it's a little more expensive. By the way, you need Venmo me.
Nah, you're fine.
But even though I didn't pay for tickets, worth every penny.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Let's get into spoilers.
All right.
So what's your favorite scene?
All right, it's the when I was talking in our list, the origin story sort of thing for Miles, because throughout the movie they're just throw down the comic book of their intro after they introduce themselves and stuff, and then the leap of faith time to the songs, the What's Up Danger, where he's learning everything. He goes to Aunt May, he spray paints the suit, he's training and stuff. He gets the web slingers, and he's on that building. He stands and he jumps off, and the slow mo's on the glass break.
Oh yeah,
and he just falls, but it's like
upside down.
It's upside down, him falling.
Yep.
And it's like slow mo. It just looks beautiful.
Yep. Oh, you know how powerful that scene is. You're explaining it to me right now. I'm getting chills.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's how powerful that scene is. It will be my background when an actual high res image of it comes up. It will be my background because it.
But the cool thing is, yesterday it's like that clip is on YouTube. Yeah. So I just rewatched it like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, I'm gonna go watch it after this now. I didn't know it was on YouTube. Holy crap!
It's just that scene. It doesn't spoil anything, So.
Yeah, so you know what? If you're on the fence about it, which you shouldn't be, if you're on the fence about it, go watch that scene, dude.
Yeah,
if you don't get chills or you're not excited after seeing that,
literally just type in Spider-Man Into the Universe, What's Up Danger scene.
What's Up Danger, yeah.
And that's what comes up.
Is that song out, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Can you
the whole
listen
soundtrack
to it?
Is it?
Oh, okay, sick.
It's good. Cool. I've listened to the soundtrack a lot.
Is that song that the movie starts out in?
Sunflower?
No, not the Post Malone thing.
Oh.
Maybe that is the Post Malone song. Is that the Post Malone
song?
The one
with Sway Lee singing?
The one where he's got headphones on.
Okay. Relax.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about it, I mean, the music in this
is incredible.
Not just because they're good songs, but in the movie,
it
made
fits.
Sense. Yeah.
And it's not like shoehorned in like
it's very driven. Mm-hmm. Like the movie's driven, or the music's driven by what's going on. Mm-hmm. And
I would say a bad example of music just being like shoved into a movie, huh?
Suicide Squad.
That's wow. Okay, that's better than my example.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Star Trek Beyond. Oh. They're like, we need to use music to destroy all of them. So then they play the immigrant song, and I'm like, it's pretty bad. It's bad. I mean, it's cool. It's like fun to watch and everything, and it gets you all fired up. But when you step back and look at it in like a film, you're like, come on.
And I want to say, I've noticed this, especially this year. It's been like an all-time high, or at least the start of something.
Starting with Black Panther, I would say.
With the start of something greater, like you don't have to get a bunch of songs to put in your movie just because. Like Guardians of the Galaxy is good, even though they got a bunch of already made songs and stuff. Like those help with the story and they make sense while they're in there. But like Black Panther and stuff, all this music that Kendrick made for the album like works into the movie with the characters, with what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Same for Creed too. When we went and saw that, you know, all the movies are about what's going on. They're helping. This one too.
I think this one's the best.
I would say so too.
Black Panther's right up there though.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff that Kendrick Lamar does in that is really good and it gets you fired up during the movie. Like when you see,
the thing is like, because I've listened to the whole soundtrack, and all of them are focused on the movie.
Yeah.
They're not like, because like some of the Black Panther album is for public as well.
Yeah.
Like certain of them, they have nothing to do with Wakanda, Black Panther, you know, stuff like that.
Yep.
Like one comes to mind is like King's Dead.
Yeah.
For instance, like that one's very commercial.
Yep.
Even though it's still in the movie, but
okay,
all of these are focused on the story of Spider-Man.
For sure. Let's talk about something that we were talking about earlier, that no movie has ever done this. Let's talk about what this movie does that just nobody else has even come close to doing. Do you not know what I'm referencing?
Oh, being
self-referential,
meta.
breaking the fourth wall, like basically doing whatever they wanted to do with the screen whenever they wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If they want to accentuate something, you know, they'll punch it out. They'll make it its own little thing. If they want to, you know what I mean? If they want to put text on the screen like a comic book, they'll do it. They don't care. You know,
which was great.
Oh, it was amazing. Like just seeing like his
thwip.
Yeah, thwip. You know,
bagel.
Like, that's the best. That's the best. He like picks up that bagel and chucks it back into
And just a bagel.
It literally had us laughing out loud. Like this movie's funny. It's got emotional beats. Like it actually makes you feel bad for some of the characters.
Oh yeah.
And it has real consequences. This movie, which Marvel has had a hard time doing right up. And you know what? I kind of think they're gonna ruin it too, because I think they're gonna just bring everybody back, right?
Most.
Now I'm not throwing down on Infinity War. I still love that movie, but we'll see how they handle consequences in that. But this movie has real consequences. Like the thing I was trying not to spoil earlier. There's 2 Peter Parkers in this movie.
Yes.
From different universes.
Which didn't know going into.
Me neither. I thought he was
great.
the same Peter Parker.
Right.
And the first one dies and is dead.
Dead.
He does not come back. They don't go into another universe to bring him back. Anything like that. He's dead. Straight up.
Yep.
And also, I also like how they literally, they didn't, I thought at the end of the movie they were going to do this thing where they just retcon something and keep Peter and Miles in the same universe so that he can teach him.
Right.
But instead it was like, nope, if you stay here, you will die. And you actually, that's one of the best scenes in the movie, less for like a cool scene, but like a good character arc, because you get to see Peter go from being a guy that does not want kids, does not want to help Miles.
Yeah, that's what ruined his marriage.
All the way till he trusts Miles, and Miles is teaching him. You know, he goes, no, you got to go fix it. You know, you have to go home.
Yeah.
You know, I got this
Using
covered.
his own words, leap of faith. Like, how will I know? He said, you won't. He's like,
Exactly.
Leap of faith.
It's a perfect scene, and I love how you just get to see him like, no, let me go. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
He's going
I'm
to
good.
the, what's the big machine called? Do you remember?
The Collider.
The Collider. That's what, Super Collider, or whatever, Collider.
So I think it's a Super Collider.
Yeah.
Well, it collides universes. That's what it does.
And, well, because you get it, and there's been like 6 Spider-Man movies before this.
Yeah.
With all the same origin, you know, so Miles is definitely different in this. And the thing with all the Spider-Mans is they had to learn a lesson. With great power comes great responsibility, and like someone dying.
Yep.
But in this one, they made it different. It wasn't his dad, for instance, or his father figure. It was his uncle, who he basically got killed, or got him killed.
Yeah.
And he kind of got Spider-Man killed, like Chris Pine Spider-Man. He didn't
help the situation.
He didn't help. He could have helped somehow, or you know.
Well, he was too early to figure out what was going on. He didn't have web shooters yet.
Yeah, he couldn't do anything to help.
Yep.
Yeah. And he learned the same lesson, but in a different way that everyone knows already.
Exactly.
You know, and they glazed over like Uncle Ben dying, all the Spider-Man intro. So they focused on Miles.
And the movie starts out on Peter.
Yeah.
And it starts out with his comic book hitting down and saying, hey, let's do this real quick, right? Which I think is really cool because I told my parents to go see this, and I'm sure they somewhat remember, but this is like a super fast and dirty way to just get the origin story out of there rather than doing it over again. Like, we don't need it, you know?
Yep.
So this way it just like whop, hits you in the face with it. It's actually kind of a joke a little bit.
Yeah, because he's copying Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
he's doing this dancing down the...
walking down the... And I mean, I think me and you and a few other people were the only people laughing at that. Everyone else is kind of like, what's he doing?
That was hilarious. No regrets.
I love laughing. I was like, yeah. That's a great... I loved it because it's like it rewarded the people that have been there since day one. Mm-hmm. You know, like, hey, look at this. And I like how Sony's like, yeah, we made that shit.
And comparing it to, like how other movies make fun of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, don't make the super suit green or I know have you seen Teen Titans Go to the Movies? He's like, there was a Green Lantern movie, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Where this one, they're like, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but when he was saying what he's done and stuff, and he was referencing the dancing and stuff, he said something where the way they address it compared to other movies have done to bad scenarios.
Yeah, I think he was something along the lines of like, oh yeah, and this happened.
Or something like that.
He's just like, I've done a Christmas album, and oh yeah, I did this.
So popsicle, you know, and then I don't know, he said something, but it was him dancing from the 3.
And the original Peter is really cool.
Yeah,
I like
Chris
him a lot.
I think Chris Pine is really good to play that.
For sure.
His voice is very, I got this
Peter
under
Parker
control.
is.
Yeah. Because this is an experienced Peter Parker.
Yep. And then and then he dies, and Miles, the Collider. You learn later in the movie that the Collider sent all the other Spider people through to Miles' dimension.
Yeah.
And so the first person Miles meets is Peter Parker 2.0, which is a Peter Parker that has...
Well, he met Gwen. He just didn't know yet.
True. He meets
Which
Gwen
you find out later.
He meets Gwen at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you noticed, there's like a really subtle thing that happens in the laboratory scene where Gwen is at the laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you notice that? Yeah. So, but she has her full hair there, so that's the real Gwen.
When she got transported in the last week, and that's why she was at the school.
Gotcha.
So I think she was trying to do the same thing. She just didn't know that they were there.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yep. And
never explained that, but who cares? It's not like they needed to.
It's not like they exactly. It's not.
Well,
like
they needed a reason for her to save them in the forest, kind of.
Yeah, because she knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're like, wait, why is Gwen there?
Exactly.
Or Gwanda.
And it explains why she didn't want to give him his name.
Yeah.
I didn't know she didn't want to give him her name because I thought she was nervous, but really she's like, I don't want to give my real name because I'm in a different dimension. I don't know what that'll, you know, like if someone was looking for me or something like that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that whole scene. You know, that's like the first act kind of fight scene where Miles is learning the ropes.
Yeah.
You know, and they just hit so many points in that one scene that if there's like a perfect little package to show someone, it's that, because you get to see Peter, like old fat Peter, act like he's gonna go and
Peter B. Parker.
Peter B.
He's like in his 30s at this point.
Yeah, and he's been eating and hasn't been Spider-Man.
He's divorced. His life's not very good.
Yeah,
you know?
And then you get to see Miles like trying to work his way in. And you get to see him turn invisible, and you get to see the bagel part, and you get to see the, you know, like, yeah.
That whole scene was great.
Oh, yeah, just act normal. Just act like we belong here. And I love how Miles is like, he can't get into the computer to get the USB, so he just takes the whole computer, and he goes, I got good news for you, Miles. We don't need the monitor. As like an IT guy, I laughed my ass off at that joke. I was like, yeah, Miles, what are you doing with the damn monitor, dude? All you need is a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just like, his optimism throughout the whole fight is hilarious. He's like, I got it all covered. He's just getting whipped around the room. Yeah.
Which Jake Johnson, the actor behind that, is
pretty good.
Pretty good. Like everything he's in, he has good comedic timing with stuff like that. So
for sure.
That was a good call.
Yeah, the cast on this is incredible. It's like, and you told me a funny thing as we were walking out about John Mulaney. If you want to tell people about that.
Yeah, so John Mulaney's the voice of Spider-Ham, Peter Porker.
Yep.
And it came on my YouTube suggested it was him on Jimmy Fallon, talking about the movie and stuff, and how he got a phone call and said, "Hey, you want to do a voice acting? We can't tell you what it is. It's a superhero movie." So he went and stuff, started recording, but they didn't tell him anything about it. Like, they didn't tell him what movie. They just told him, like, gave him his lines for him to do.
They didn't tell him what rating it was.
And yeah, they didn't tell him what rating, and then John Mulaney said that they told him to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so, which was what you should do.
Absolutely.
You know, looking at Venom is what they definitely didn't do. So John Mulaney's like, all right, I'll have fun with it. And so it showed it bleeped it out, of course. It was TV, and it was like John Mulaney just cussing, dropping F-bombs in this movie as Peter Porker.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
And I think they keep some of his lower stuff in. They just kind of like comic book it out. If I'm not mistaken, don't they? Isn't there like a few scenes where he's just about to cuss and it just like cuts to something else?
I think there might have been one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. But Peter Porker, when I saw the trailers, I was like, that could be, if they don't do that right, that could be awkward. Because it's like he just seems like the kind of like of the team. Like, I thought he was just going to be there for jokes.
Yeah, but he gets his moment.
He gets his moment, and they work it really well. And not only is he there for jokes, he actually has like a sad side as well. You know, he explains why he learned his lesson as a Spider-Man. You know, and let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Spider people.
Okay, individually. So we've talked about 2 Spider-Mans and
the original Peter Parker is perfect, and the fact that he's so good means that his death actually means something.
Yeah,
you know, you get the
entire city of New York is like in mourning.
Yeah, because he's like the perfect Spider-Man. He's the perfect version of Spider-Man.
Yep.
And yeah, it makes you feel, because you're like, damn, I did not want him to die. I just met him. He's an awesome character. You know what I mean? And then he dies. So, and then you got Spider-Man B, Peter Parker B, and you originally, I don't know, I wasn't too hot on him, but that's how it's actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
But then they show his origin story, and I was like, okay, I get it. Right. So, yeah, who else we got?
All right, well, Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen's awesome. I love how elegantly she fights.
Yeah.
Like, Peter A and B both kind of have these, which, by the way, they nail the Peter Parker isms that I don't think any Spider movie has.
Well, because Spider-Man's, like, strong as fuck.
Yes, and he's...
Pardon my language.
No, you're fine. He's quippy. He's not only strong, he's also, like, very quippy and just funny. And I don't think anyone else has done that. Spider-Man 1, 2, or 3 definitely didn't do it. Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2, we're not even going to talk about those. And I think Marvel's trying, and they're getting close.
He's still young.
He's just too young to be, like, confident about himself and whipping around.
Their spider sense in this is full out established, like you know what it does.
Yep.
In this, where like the new Marvel's like he's just figuring it out.
I also love that it's a movie that can do whatever it wants, so you can literally see their spider sense,
electric bolts when something's happening, or when they're face to face for each other for the first time. Like,
he's like, "You're like me.
You're like me,"
and it's cool because that's a throwback to the old cartoons, because he used to be able to see it in the old cartoons,
which we'll talk about.
Which we will talk about, and in the books as well as in the comic books, you can see it. Yeah, but the thing about Gwen is she fights so elegantly, like the way she flips and bounces off of things and everything. It's like it makes sense that that's a woman. You got Peter, and they're just kind of like gung ho doing it, and they can be elegant at times, but her fighting style is just like clean and perfect and beautiful, and it's cool.
You remember She-Venom from Venom?
Man, this movie made Venom look real bad. Like Venom,
Like a steaming pile of
symbiote doo-doo. Yeah, but all right, who else we got?
Spider Noir.
Yep, played by Nicolas Cage.
Man, that was great. He did such a good job.
He did a great job. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Just show up.
Yeah,
I think he's like.
care.
I think if I was to get like a pop figure or something of this movie, I just might get Spider Noir.
Well, he looked amazing. You know, he's black and white, which shouldn't work if you just have one thing black and white in this very vibrant universe. Universe is. It's crazy.
Once again, just follow no rules. They're just we're
Yep.
doing whatever. And anything, I love how anything he touches is also color. So he's just like, what is this? For example,
Like you have right here on your desk a Rubik's Cube.
yep.
And he's laying on the couch trying to figure it out.
Yeah. It's like, what are the? I don't know what this is.
It was like, this is blue, and Spider-Ham's like, nope. And he's like, purple, nope.
Nope.
He's like, ah.
He's like mad at himself. Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just the greatest.
I mean, he's good. He sticks true to being from the era, like the whole movie.
Oh yeah, he's just like calling people like old Nazi swines and pigs and everything.
You know.
Oh, doesn't he do that? He's like he calls someone like a
Gwen calls. No, he does. He said, "What a pig."
yeah, something like
I'm right
something
here.
pig, and he's like, "I'm right here." John Mulaney's character does.
Yeah.
It's just like, and their interactions are just so good, you know.
They all blended well.
Ah! And I
What's the video?
really like how they're all kind of friends because they all understand each other because they've all been spider people for blank amount of years.
Yep.
So they all kind of, you know what I mean? They're all like, yeah, we're all the same. And that's what forces Miles out is because he's not there yet. So they're like, you know, they kind of have to force him out.
Yeah, because they're trying to test him.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't know anything yet.
Which is really unfair. You know, it's like because they didn't get tested like that. They weren't expected to be the best on day one.
None of them understood because all of them have had this traumatic thing that's made them who they are, and they're throughout this whole thing from first Spider-Man to Spider-Man B, Peter B. Parker to all of them are like, no matter how hard you get hit, you got to get back up.
Yeah.
Spider-Man always gets back up.
Yeah.
And the reason they get back up is because they know who they're fighting for, what they're fighting for. Where Miles is still trying to figure this all out.
Yeah.
Because this is when they're doing that. That's like before his uncle gets killed.
Yep.
Basically, because of him, almost. You know.
Before he gets that thing that happens to him, that happens to all Spider-Man, that teaches them that lesson that they need to know.
How they learn who you're fighting for, what you're fighting for.
Yeah. And, you know, that's a really that's really adult beat to have in a kids movie. You know, which I thought was cool. You know, it's like they're not dumbing anything down for us. There's a lot of things that kids they'll fly right over their head, but as an adult, it's fun to watch. You're like, no, they really focused on everything in this movie. You know.
Yep.
And
Aunt May in this, I really enjoyed.
Huh?
Aunt May.
Aunt May. Sorry, I thought you said Ant-Man. I was like, did I miss something? No, Aunt May's dope. She's not just this frail old.
And you know they show up at her house and she's like, please, no more flowers or anything like that. And she opens it and she sees Peter B. Parker, and like she knows he's different, but she still hugs him anyway because it's like it's not Peter, my Peter, but it's still Peter, you know, and
Peter also Peter also has an emotional response to that
because his Aunt May is dead.
Exactly, and he's a little broken up about it. You know what I mean?
And he wants to leave. He's like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, you know, and he's like, Aunt May, you're not gonna believe this, but and she's like, from another universe.
Yeah, Aunt May.
They're just like, yep.
She knows what's going on.
What?
She's not an idiot. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She's not a frail old woman that doesn't know what she's doing. You know, she knows exactly what she's doing.
She whooped up on Tombstone.
Sure did. She knows exactly what she's doing. Like, she's cool.
Yep.
Which I thought was awesome. Because Aunt May in the comics is, like, actually a cool character.
She's like an Alfred or a Jarvis sort of deal.
Exactly. And all the Aunt Mays in the movies so far have just been like, except for and then they kind of went a different route with it in Marvel because I don't think they want to develop her character, but she's not an idiot. She's not old. She's not, she's just kind of Aunt May.
Yep.
She's there for him when he needs him, which is cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, so we have Spider Noir. We got
and Penny Parker.
More. Penny Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's the kind of anime.
She's not from the future.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, but not like a crazy future.
No, she's like 2022 or something like that. I can't remember.
Something like that.
But
Where
yeah, she's
her dad made the suit, and inside the suit is the spider.
Yep.
The radioactive spider.
Mm-hmm.
And they're best friends, and her dad died, and that's all. And you learn that easily without them saying that's like all she has left of her dad.
Yeah.
And which comes in big later, when in the final fight. You can tell that.
And I really like that you can tell like her and the bot, aka the spider, have like been.
Yeah, like they even said like they're best friends.
Yeah, and they work together really well. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, they each have their. What's really cool about this is none of them really feel like useless.
Mm-mm.
Like they each have their purpose for being there. They didn't just stick. It's not like they flipped open a comic book and went, "Oh, he looks cool. Let's stick him in there," which I think a lot of movies do. They're like, I think they went, "We need this beat and we want to get this character in there. So what can we do with them?" It wasn't just like sticking characters in for no apparent reason. They like did their research and spent their time and effort developing them and making them good.
Yep.
And Penny Parker, I thought when I saw the trailers, I thought I was gonna hate Penny Parker.
Yeah.
No offense, but that's just not my style.
Because it's more. We can credit this like as each Spider-Man has like its own demographic.
Yeah, absolutely,
almost,
for sure.
So like every kind of person can find one of the spider
can relate
people.
with one.
Yeah. Like if you're into like anime or stuff like that, you might like Penny Parker more than the others. Like Spider Noir. Some people are really into noir style stuff.
Or older people.
Older people, yeah. And then, I mean, like Miles is a young kid, which young kids will relate to, want to relate to. And then there's the funny one for really everyone, Spider-Ham.
Yep.
Gwen, all the women, And
not I mean, not to be racially insensitive, but Miles is also black.
Yeah.
And a lot of this, his whole family's black and everything like that. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't know if there was many other black kids in that school he went to.
I don't.
Which
think so.
I'm sure some kids can relate with. They're like,
it's
whether it be black, white, Mexican, anything.
It's like a prep school or a charter school.
Exactly.
Or something like
You might be the only one of the few race in your school, and so you can relate with that. And then you got Spider B, which I'm sure a lot of middle-aged men can relate with.
Yeah.
And then you got Spider A, which I'm sure like some young adults can relate with. It's like that's I'd like to look up to him, to be like that guy.
Yeah.
I may not have spider powers, but I like how he handles situations and how he handles he's positive no matter what.
Yeah.
And
I really liked like every bit at the school with him. Like he's taking these tests. He obviously don't want to be there. He's not making any friends.
I love how he gets a 0.
Exactly. Like it's a 100 question
true
or false test, and he gets a 0. And the teacher is like, "Do you know the chances of someone
if someone just guessed randomly what the outcome would be on a true or false test?"
And it's 50-50.
That's 50%.
Yeah. And
give or take.
He got a 0, but he knew all the answers and got them wrong on purpose.
And she
which
changes
is insane.
Which again, amazing scene. She's got 0 over 100, right? And she changes it in front of her to 100 over 100. I don't know why, but I was like, that's just cool. That's just good writing.
Because Peter Parker's always been not a nerd, but he's
smart.
He's smart.
He's been a nerd.
I mean, like that, because that worm takes such a bad light sometimes.
Yeah.
A nerd.
He's a little less social. But Miles is a different kid. You could tell he's more social than Peter is.
Yeah. He tries to be, but makes it like full of himself a lot.
Yep. He embarrasses himself a lot, and I think this movie also does a good job of giving kids that are moving schools somewhere to relate with, you know?
Yeah.
Because he walks past all his old friends,
Mhm.
you know? And it's just like, that would be tough.
Yep. Let's talk about the villains.
Well, let's talk about the last
Oh.
spider person. We didn't talk about Spider-Ham.
Oh, we did a little bit, but we
Just a
didn't
little bit.
go
We
on.
didn't, like, go into it.
So he was a spider bitten by a radioactive pig.
And I think John Mulaney has found his calling. He needs to be a voice actor in about every other movie from here on out, period. He is. I don't know what it is about his voice, but it's just, like, perfect for comedic stuff. Like, in Big Mouth and in this, he's just perfect.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I really love his voice.
I do, too. It's just, like, I don't know
It's
what
not,
it is.
like, soothing or anything. It's just so, like, non-threatening.
It's very non-threatening. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he, like I said, I was kind of worried about him being
Just comedy.
just a joke character
Yeah.
and everything like that. But he's like, one, can fight in the funniest of ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has the funniest fight scenes out of everybody, and he's useful. Like, he actually does things. He talks to Miles and gives him emotional support, like all the rest of the characters, you know, in a funny way.
Yeah. I think that door's open.
Yeah. Okay, we're back. Sorry,
Okay.
had to close the door.
You're right. We were talking about Spider-Man.
Yep.
Yeah, because you didn't really get to see him do anything until, like, the final fight, like, when it came to combat or anything.
Yep.
And then he...
Well, there's that fight in Aunt May's house that he does some
Oh,
stuff
that's true.
to.
But he, like, he breaks a plate over his own head, you know?
He just does stupid
Like, they're all
shit.
fighting, and he just breaks a plate over his head. But he keeps a shard. Like,
Yeah, he does, because he's gonna go murder somebody. So ridiculous.
Yeah, and then
I love it.
And then he distracts Scorpion, and he says something to him, like,
Yeah.
"Come at me, bro," or something.
Yeah.
And then he just starts, like, destroying him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a very good fighter, and he's got that hammer.
Yeah, and him and what's her name? Something Parker.
Penny.
Him and Penny Parker work well together in that final fight scene.
Yeah, they did, because Penny's suit, or the tech robot or mech, I don't know what it is,
Starts to get destroyed,
yeah, like, Scorpion is, like, destroying it, so
messing her up,
yeah,
and she ends up having to use, like, a piece of him to beat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Spider-Ham basically saves her.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I like how the robot like tells itself that it's dying. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, like, turns off. And I like how the spider gets out.
Yeah.
And you could, like, crawls on her like shoulder.
Yep.
That was cool. So I'm curious to see if they do another one. What they'll do with her, if she comes back.
Well, later it showed her creating a new one.
Okay. Must have missed that.
New
Apologize.
tech. Yeah.
Cool.
So she was trying to make a new one.
Let's talk about the villains.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of them, but it's good.
So
For once.
do you want to go in order that we see him, or from, like,
Let's go in order
in
from when we
charge?
see them.
Okay.
Because one of them's interesting.
All right. So I'm trying to think. First villain we see is Green Goblin, but, like, Ultimate Green Goblin.
Yeah,
Or
this
something,
is from
where he's, like,
huge.
50 feet tall and like an actual, like, it reminds me of gargoyles.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's clearly, like, taken too much of the goblin serum
Mhm.
and is now just, like, a massive, weird.
Yeah.
And I also love this about this movie where it's just, like, none of it has to make sense.
No, nothing's like what you've seen before.
Exactly. So let's talk about the next villain.
I'm trying to think.
I think it's Kingpin next. And
If we're
then,
going in
and
order.
then you get to see Prowler.
Yeah, and then, well, you get to see Tombstone with
True.
Kingpin. He don't really do much.
No, he's just. I
But
mean,
they exaggerated Kingpin in this, dude.
dude, he is huge, and that's what I was talking about. It's like, it doesn't have to make sense.
Nope.
It's like Kingpin has always been known for his, like, he's not one to, like, get dirty,
Right.
but if he needs to, he will.
Mm.
And he's incredibly strong. Like, you don't really
Well, he
know
lifted
it.
a car in those.
Good old podcast cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but keep going.
Yeah. So there was a point laughing. It wasn't supposed to be like funny or anything. Come on. Where they pull up to the lab.
We both noticed this.
He gets out of the car, and I was like, "How'd he fit in that?"
The car is
he's
like a normal car size, and he's like 3 times the size of it. It's so like it's so ridiculous.
Like, he is humongous. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like 2. He's like 4 washing machines.
Yeah. See, I think what this movie did so well is there's a lot of villains in it, right? But I think what the other Spider-Men do so bad is they try to give each villain like their own little story, right?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about Tombstone. We don't know anything about Green Goblin.
don't
We
even
learn
think-
about the Prowler.
I don't even think you ever got some of their names in the thing.
No, they don't tell you it's Green Goblin. They don't tell you it's
Tombstone.
or the Prowler until
Yeah.
later. You know what I mean? They don't tell you any of this stuff. And you don't learn about Scorpion. You know what I mean?
Right.
You learn about the people that you need to, and that's it. And that's Scorpion or Green Goblin. Losing my mind. That's Prowler and Kingpin.
And even Doc Ock.
Yes, that's the interesting one. Is you learn that the scientist that was on the documentary,
Yeah, that they're watching at school.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to be like this good scientist doing good in the world with talking about parallel dimensions, stuff like that.
Yep.
Turns out to be evil.
Yep.
And
And
like a
it's
mastermind.
cool how you figure that out too, because it looks like she's just infatuated with Spider-Man, and realistically, you learn, oh, she already knows about Spider-Man. She knows it's, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and I like how, again, they don't have to explain shit. They're like, we're making Doc Ock a woman, and here it is.
Everyone's
like, get
fine.
over it.
Good.
You know? And I liked how they went like a different route with it. They're not metal arms or something. They're like they're like tubes kind of.
They are.
And they have like this, I would say they probably have some kind of fluid that flows through them that lets them bend the way they do.
And there's only 4 of them.
Yeah, and she just uses them however she needs, you know?
Yep.
And it's just cool. I was perfectly fine with that. And it came out of nowhere too, by the way. I was like, I looked over at you like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
That's cool.
Yeah. Next villain. We had Scorpion. Didn't get a whole lot of him.
Scorpion's there to fight because you have 4 spider people, so you got to have someone to fight with, and he does that perfectly. And he's
weird looking, which
weird
wouldn't
looking.
fit in anything else.
Exactly.
Because he's got like the Darth Maul robot legs, like the spider legs, you know?
Yep.
And he's like some like Hispanic guy,
Yep.
you know? And then we learned Prowler, which I knew, you did too, going into it, that it was his uncle.
I didn't
the
know
whole
that.
time. Oh, you didn't?
No idea.
Oh, really?
I tried not to watch too many trailers for this movie because
I just knew that from
just knowing.
just knowing, yeah, from like Homecoming and stuff. That's Donald Glover in Marvel.
See, I just didn't pay attention that much,
Oh, okay.
which
So-
actually worked out well for me.
Yeah.
And I figured it out. You know what I mean? Like the minute he went back to his uncle's, and he said, "I'm gonna be he kept saying, "I'm gonna be out of town."
Yeah.
I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I knew something was up. I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I think his uncle's like a bad guy,
Yeah.
and it ended up being
Yep.
So I wasn't like dumbfounded when it was, you know what I mean?
Right.
Also, I mean, they hint at it a lot during the movie. Because, you know, your uncle is not exactly the greatest guy. His dad says that a few times.
Yep.
I love the music that goes with the Prowler.
Mhm.
The way it was like, you know what I mean? It would like, it would like drop
Shake
it.
and
Yeah, everything. It was really cool.
I would like to see Prowler and Marvel, see how they use him, if they do.
For sure.
He'll
He's
be
got
pretty good.
he's got some cool stuff. I don't.
Yeah, that's not like the original one apparently. It's the Ultimate series of Spider-Man that
Gotcha.
they based off of or something.
Again, they could just do whatever they want.
They could do whatever they want because he was really cool in this.
For sure. Yeah. I think Kingpin's probably one of the best villains in a Marvel movie. He actually, like, okay, it's a cartoon, right? So it's over exaggerated, but his reasoning for doing it is actually kind of strong.
Yeah.
Like, the reason he hates Peter Parker is because he thinks that the reason his wife and his son are dead is because Peter Parker.
Right.
Because Kingpin obviously is trying to blame it on somebody else, which is actually a common thread in Kingpin's psyche. You know, that's what he does. So 1, again, they've done their research. 2, he wants to build a collider to bring back his son and wife from a different dimension so that he can have them again. Vanessa, right?
Vanessa and I don't remember the boy's name.
Richard?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Which I think is incredible for a cartoon. Like, to have that strong of a reasoning, you know, where you can look into yourself and go, I mean, it's over-exaggerated because of a cartoon, but if I lost the love of my life and my son, I'd probably go to extreme lengths to get him back, you know? So it's like, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Which we've watched multiple...
Like, no matter the cost. Like, he's willing to put a black hole into Brooklyn just to do it.
Because he feels lost. Like, he feels like there's something missing, you know? And you can understand why he kills Spider-Man, because he's like, for some odd reason, in his psychopath mind, he thinks that Spider-Man's the reason it happened. When realistically, it's all his fault, you know? It's just... when they went into that, I was amazed. I was like, wow, that's pretty strong for a cartoon.
Yeah.
Which is why I think this has really raised the bar. Because it's like, listen, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, you know what I mean? It's like, get to work on your villains, you know?
Yeah.
Because if we can make our villain good while also being surrounded by a bunch of other villains, you got work to do, you know?
Yep.
What else you got?
Well, the end fight scene, we hinted at earlier, avoiding cliches. It was a very cliche target for them. Be like, we have to stop this thing and put this in there and hit this button, you know? But they did a good job of avoiding, like, even though it is very basic to do.
Yeah.
There was so much added to it, and the fact that one of them has to stay behind, or none of them can stay, or else it'll kill them, or how good it looked around it. It distracted you from.
And even it's
easiness.
like, I mean, let's compare it to some other fights, like Venom, for example. He's just stopping a spaceship from going.
Yeah, he's trying to stop the spaceship from going to bring back more symbiotes.
Okay, so
it's Venom's trying to get to it, and not Carnage. Riot's trying to stop him from getting to it, and they're fighting at nighttime. It's just like a walkway to a spaceship.
This I feel has more intricacies, right? Like, there's more going on in this.
Yep.
So not only, okay, yes, they have to get a thing and put it in a thing and turn it off, right? But that's just going to be there, because how else are you going to stop the collider? But I think what makes this more interesting is they can't stop the collider yet. They have to keep it going. You know, they wait for him to turn it on.
Yeah,
because they all have to get back. Which I think is interesting, because normally it's like, we have to stop this.
Yep.
Right? It's like, I think this is more interesting because they have to wait for them to turn it on, keep it on to send them all back, and trust that Miles is going to stop it.
Yep.
All by himself.
Going into it, Miles wasn't there yet.
Exactly.
So they had the plan of Peter B. Parker staying back
and
even
sacrificing
though it was
himself.
Kill him.
Exactly. So I feel like, even though it's like a button that you got to press to turn it off, it's not that cliche.
Yeah.
In the grand
really
scheme of
nice.
things. And you got added bonuses of like Kingpin throws himself in, and you get emotional beats with him and his family. You get Miles' dad comes down, because he was the police on call.
Yep.
To the party, and you get everyone fighting and doing their thing together, and you get to see Miles actually come out of his shell and use his powers like he knows, like he actually can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because Peter Parker was literally like almost about to die by Doc Ock, and then she just gets hit Because he's invisible.
Oh yeah.
Miles.
Yep.
She's like, what?
What was that? Yeah, she punches herself because he grabs one of her things and punches herself
Yeah.
in the face. Yep.
And then like even Spider-Man doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then he shows up, and then he starts kicking butt,
Uh-huh.
And this is right after the "What's Up, Danger" scene.
Yep. And
So, yeah.
Peter, whenever he turns less, and he goes, "Hey, you know how to do it on command now." He's like, even when like
Yeah.
they're this close to dying, it's like they're
Which
still.
is Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man.
That's what I was about to say. They're still being Spider-Man. They're holding true to the character no matter what,
Yep.
which is important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really have a hard time finding anything wrong with this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could, but it's nothing like crazy.
It's nothing like Venom where you can sit there and find
Yeah,
more
'cause,
wrong
like,
than right.
The one thing I can think of is how did Gwen know to go to the lab?
Yeah, I guess.
But who cares?
How did Peter go?
Because Miles knew, because Peter, the original Spider-Man, told him what to do. Put this goober in.
Got it.
So-
Goober.
They called it a goober. Yeah.
I also love the one of my favorite scenes is it's like more of a joke scene, but when Miles first meets Peter B
Uh-huh.
and he shocks him because he doesn't know,
Yeah.
like that's his natural spider instinct, like just protecting him.
Yeah.
And then to get away from the cop, he keeps using the thing, but he doesn't know how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't, and then they got that whole scene of them like flying through the city.
Running.
I also didn't know the stick thing was like a on and off. Like you have to turn it off.
Oh, like the...
Yeah, I thought it just came naturally, and I found that really interesting. That like, I've never seen that in a Spider-Man movie, and I don't know why. It's super funny.
Right. Well, because they never explained it or anything, and it was just sometimes he would stick to stuff.
Yeah, and you're like, well, how does he?
Like, is it on all the time? What if he like grabs his leg? What would happen? Like, can he let go or something?
Yep. And then they use the best the best scene to actually explain it to you. That it's like
Because they're trying to be
stealthy,
and he's stuck on the light and can't relax.
which
And
is
he's like,
hilarious.
what do you do to relax?
Like flipping around. It's like stop.
Yeah.
What do you do to relax? And then he just
And he
starts
starts
singing.
which is perfect. Like we said about the music being
It makes sense.
part of the movie.
Yep.
And he's singing, and then he relaxes. So it's a thing where you can control it, which is cool.
All right. You got anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
I am going to go on a limb and say the best end credit scene of all time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the end credit scene, if you want to hear it, is Spider-Man 2099
Yep.
showing up.
Yep.
And his virtual assistant, like a Jarvis sort of thing,
Uh-huh.
is telling him that he's just telling him what happened and everything. And so she gives him like a bracelet that allows him to go between the universes or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I got to get everyone or something. So setting up for whatever's next.
Yep.
And he's like, I got to go to the beginning. Spider-Man 67 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just goes to the scene in the Spider-Man cartoon
Yep.
where it's just them pointing at each other.
the two
Quick,
different.
come with me. Hey, who are you? I'm Spider-Man. No, I'm Spider-Man. Why are you pointing at me?
It's the greatest.
And then I lost it when he did the double-handed point.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not kidding.
It was perfect. It was like for us knowing memes our whole life
Yeah.
and like you know what I mean. It was like, and that being one of the biggest ones. It
When
was.
even the credits, they were paying homage to all the Spider-Man memes.
Yeah,
Like,
no, the credits were normally after the movies. I'm like, ugh. Okay, the scroll credits are still just as bad,
Yeah.
but the credits, like naming all the characters and stuff, was awesome.
Yeah.
Like it was super cool. It was really like stylistic and everything. It was really cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was the Spider-Man, but portraying the Spider-Man sitting behind the desk with the picture of Spider-Man framed behind him.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like his head's like
Yep.
unnaturally where you would be sitting.
Oh
you know?
yeah, it's like here. It's like above his nipples on the desk. It's super
What an
weird.
odd way to judge that. Will.
Something I just thought about thinking about that is I love how Miles gets his suit. because
sprays paint.
yeah, because
Sprays
they go down. And once again, this movie's just connected in so many different points. It's he shows him the cape, and early in the movie he's like, lose the cape. He goes, I think this one has a cape, Peter. and I just really like how, one, he spray painted it,
Yeah.
which is true to his character, and two, he didn't get it. Like I thought they were setting him up to get it when they first went down into Peter A's lair.
Yeah.
And
They were gonna give it.
They held off on that. They were like, no, let's wait till he gets his.
And he's ready.
Yes.
Or are you saying character as in comic book character or movie character?
What are you saying? What do you mean?
Well, because he's an artist in this, and he's like held back by his dad when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And
I'd say it
makes a lot of sense for him to spray paint, especially because he had that spray paint scene.
That's what I'm talking about. He's
a
spray paint artist.
Yeah.
He likes tagging things with his art.
Yeah, and his dad catches him and makes him take him down.
The fact that he doesn't like any of the suit's coloring, and he's like, I'm going to make my own, and then he spray paints his own spider logo and everything. I thought that was really cool.
And it was like a messy spray, too.
Absolutely.
Because, like, on the hands and stuff, it was, like, splattered, getting towards the fingertips.
Oh, yeah, he didn't spray all the way down. So it turns back to red, which is how his really is.
Yeah.
But they didn't, like...
It's just like stops at the fingers, and it's red.
Yeah, if they just had, like, a Miles suit down there, I'd be like, that's not as cool.
Yeah, right.
So, anything else?
No, I don't think so. They're all great. Oh, and the end credits with the
the Rubik's Cube. Yeah, he actually solves it.
Yeah. And he introduces it to the world.
Yeah,
and it's all black and white, and he's just showing off this cube.
It's just a cube. Oh man,
Rubik's Cube.
That's so funny. I love it.
Yeah,
that was such a weird inclusion. Him and Spider-Ham are so weird.
Yeah,
and I love it. They're like two of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, like, this movie blew my expectations out of the water.
Yeah,
Especially with Sony and Spider-Man's before minus Homecoming.
Absolutely.
So.
Will you just do me the honors and
That was a bad snap.
That was a bad one. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a full snap. We don't even have to go through the grading system. We will real quick, but like, where is it gonna lose? The story, amazing.
Like we said before, it's now your fourth all-time favorite movie.
So if it didn't get a full snap, it shouldn't be up there.
Exactly.
The cinematography, I've never seen a movie like this.
Like, it's the first of its kind.
It is absolutely the first of its kind, and it was the thing that drew me in. That's how good it is. It's because when I first saw the trailer of this, I didn't care how good the movie was going to be. I was like, damn, that looks good. That looks like it looks so pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, boner score, it's incredible. Cinematography, rewatchability, I want to see it over and over and over again. Didn't want it to end. Engagement, didn't want it to end. Overall impressions, incredible on all points. And story is good. It's great.
Yep. Can't disagree.
Don't think it would lose any of those. So yeah, get out there and see it.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go on Christmas Day. Bring your whole family. Please make this movie money. I really want to see another one because I don't think they'll mess it up.
I didn't want Venom to make money, and not that I didn't want people to be successful. It's just if it makes money, they'll think it was good enough for a sequel.
I hope Sony looks at the rating and goes, "Okay, we did something there." Like,
and hopefully they're like, "Oh, it looked this good."
I hope they care about it. Because a 98% for a cartoon superhero movie is probably right up there with the highest of all time, besides Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight.
So let's see, it's got an 8.8 on IMDb,
which is I think is criminally low, but whatever. IMDb has a really rough rating system.
Yeah, they do. 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's incredible.
5 out of 5 on Common Sense.
97%. Mad Max has like a what?
Oh, I don't know. Audience scored 95.
Yeah.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
It's just so good. It's just so good. Yeah, Mad Max has a 97.
Oh, dude. So I looked.
It's in the same vein with Mad Max. Oh, it's such a good scene. He just showed me a picture of the upside down city.
Because he's upside down, but it flips it where it looks like he's right side up, and the city's upside down.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Perfect. It's awesome.
It's so pretty.
All right. You said we'll probably be referencing this movie all year, and let's just be honest, it'll probably come up in the awards.
12 days left.
Yeah, adults. But it'll probably come up. I meant next year, really.
Oh,
It'll probably come up in the awards for sure.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that real quick because we're recording this.
Do you want to talk about it at the end? Get through 8 to debate. And
yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's do 8 for
Will
debate.
be continued.
You said you had something.
Yeah.
Best.
Huh?
What?
All right, for debate. Did you forget?
I did.
Oh, well, it's best movie villain, Joker or Thanos, and you picked Joker.
Good. Okay. I didn't forget. I have it.
All right, you go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Go. 8 minutes.
Honestly, when you sent this, I don't know if Thanos is a good villain to put against the Joker because there's no competition.
Okay. Trust me, I got this.
Thanos's. Let me start with Thanos, then I can relate it back to Joker. Thanos's reasoning and justification for what he's doing is so strangely awkward. The only way I've been able to justify the way he went about fixing the problem is that he's just a sociopath. Like, that's it. That's the only way I can get around him saying, okay, there's not enough resources and my family died. I mean, my family and my people died because overpopulation and we didn't have enough resources. So I'm going to get 6 of the most powerful gems in the universe, which means I can do literally anything. I said 6.
Yeah, you said 6 of the most. I was like, well, that's it. It's those 6.
The 6 most powerful gems in the universe that can do anything and then just waste them by murdering half the population. Okay. That just doesn't seem like the smartest way to go about it. Okay? Now let's switch to the Joker. Arguably the smartest villain, but the coolest thing about him is if he wanted to just ruin the world, he could. But he just wants to mess with Batman. Like, his whole goal is just he needs Batman in his life to have someone to interact with. It's kind of like a relationship, you know what I mean? Like, he wants to be married to Batman, but not in like the normal sense. He wants to be married to this battle between them, you know, their juxtaposition. He loves that, and that's what makes it so interesting. And the fact, I mean, the things he does in this movie, the way he sets up different plot points and different, you know, he puts 2 people in different places and sets it up so that he has to decide, you know, and arguably he decides for the wrong one. I mean, that's just, he's mentally torturing everyone around him, and that's just one hell of a villain, if you ask me.
Yeah. All right. You done?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I proposed this question to you, I was really, really, really hoping you would say the Joker. Because if you did, I can easily end this debate in 2 words.
Oh, God, get out of here.
What?
I'm excited. I don't believe you at all. This is a good age for
my
debate
shoes
right here.
and go ahead and get the car running.
Okay, I'm ready.
Jared Leto.
Oh, that's not even fair. You got me there. No, see, Jared Leto's a good villain. Nah, dude, I can't even fight for him. He's not even a villain. He does nothing in that movie.
No, but I have other points.
Nah, I'm done. That's perfect. That's. God damn it! Why didn't I think of that at all?
I was really hoping that would. That's why I was very tempted to change Suicide Squad on my list, where you didn't remind yourself of.
I didn't even think about it, dude. When you said best villains, I was like, he means. Yeah. Man, I fought so well for him too.
Pulled a tricky one on you.
I fought so well too. I grilled. That was a good one. That
was funny. I was gonna say Thanos did what he said he was gonna do. Killed half the universe. Stronger than everyone. So.
Well, Joker never set up what he was gonna do. All he wanted to do was watch the world burn, and he did a pretty good job of it.
Mm-hmm. What about Jared Leto? What did he do?
Jared Leto did nothing. If you would have told me Jared Leto versus Thanos, I would have given Thanos the best damn defense This side of the Mississippi. Nah, dude, that
This
was
side of the Mississippi.
that was good stuff. That was good stuff.
Oh, that was great. I'd say that's our best day for debate.
That was amazing. I was not. Literally, you had me hook, line, and sinker, dude. You said 2 words. I was like, get out of here with this nonsense. What are you doing? Oh, Lord.
Jared Leto.
Okay. God. 2 words.
That's great.
Okay. You got an unpopular opinion?
Not really.
Me neither. I have an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
I mean,
Jared Leto?
this will apply to like 4 people. I think Cam Newton needs to be fired and sent to another team.
Oh, my God. That's very unpopular. You are so wrong.
I'm so right. He is garbage.
Oh, my God.
Elijah.
Can't believe we're friends.
He is garbage.
I can't believe we're friends.
Cam Newton needs to be gone.
Oh, my God.
I'd rather have Heineke right now than Cam Newton.
Oh, my God. Well, you will next week.
Good. Fucking get out of here. Get your shoulder fixed and come back next year. He's garbage, dude.
Okay.
Have you seen the way he throws?
Yeah, he's in pain.
Listen. He looks to the heavens every single time he throws.
Hey, name a quarterback before Cam Newton.
What do you mean before Cam Newton?
For the Panthers, name one.
That I want?
No, name the quarterback.
I mean, Jake Delhomme. But
okay. Between Jake Delhomme andAm Newton, name.
I'd rather have Cam Newton.
No. Between them
Derek
two.
Carr.
Okay. And when did the Panthers become relevant again?
After when Cam Newton came in.
And then.
Listen. I'm not debating.
I'd rather have him, no matter like with his. Because I was at the game last night and I got to see firsthand his struggles.
I watched the whole thing.
And I'm not saying he's perfect, but
he's definitely not perfect.
No, but he's such a polarizing player where he can take over a game no matter how hot, how cold they are. If he's happy, smiling, and we go out there like that, no one's gonna stop him.
That's what I don't like about him. Is he has to be happy and smiling. Stop. He has to be happy and smiling to be good. Yeah, look at that. Jeez. I don't know.
I think you need a coaching change before Cam.
Like who? Who are you gonna change?
Ron Rivera. This is a changing time in football. You need an offensive coach, man. Look at the Rams. You see what they're doing?
Bro, the only reason we were even in that game last night is because the defense played their heart out.
Yeah, it's the first time in like 6 weeks.
That's fair, but you know why? Because they switched the defense back to Ron Rivera.
Well, they did that last week too.
Well, he's got to have at least a game to get into it, Elijah. Come on.
Oh, my God. Whatever. And statistically, this
is
Cam's best season.
You know who I want?
What?
For our transition in quarterback, if we had to get rid of Cam.
It's not going to happen.
I'll let Nick Foles. Get the Super Bowl winner in here. God. They're just letting him sit and rot on the bench.
Well, he's playing now, too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he played last week.
Why?
Wentz is hurt.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind.
No, if you want to talk about the Eagles quarterbacks, Wentz should be traded, man. He's
garbage, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not as good. He's not as good as everybody thought he was. Yeah.
Anyway.
You know who's a great quarterback?
Who?
He looks like Michael Vick.
Oh, Lamar Jackson?
Lamar Jackson looks like he could be a potential Michael Vick coming up.
He just needs
1 minus all the dogfighting.
Yeah. Hey, Vick did his time.
He did do his time. But he's still a shitty person for doing it.
Yeah. Anyway. So, sleeper. Let's go to sleeper. If you're done talking about Cam.
Yeah, let's hear it.
How dare you?
I'm just messing. It was an unpopular opinion, so I thought I'd throw it out.
Well, not necessarily sleepers, but stuff I've watched this week.
Yeah,
do you have a sleeper?
I don't.
Okay. So, we had a week off basically, and I was like, you know what? I feel like watching. I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
I actually really liked it.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Should I watch
really
it?
Good. Yeah.
I'll grab it.
Paul Rudd was more Paul Ruddy in this.
Ooh, I like Paul Rudd being Paul Ruddy.
Yeah. And Michael Pena in this is great. So,
I do have a sleeper. You started watching Psych with Brooke? Is that what you said?
I was talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh.
But, yeah, you could. Yeah, and I also started watching Psych with Brooke because she's never seen it.
Good, I love Psych.
Yeah, and she's really liking it. She sings along to the theme song, so it's good.
Oh, yes. That's yes.
That's when you know if someone really likes it.
Exactly. That's how you know when to marry her. What's it called? I paused it because I wanted to look up this Paul Rudd movie, but I knew it was going to take me a minute to find it.
Okay.
As a sleeper. It's called The Fundamentals of Caring.
Oh, okay.
And it's on Netflix. Have you seen it?
I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
It's really good. It's about a crippled guy that Paul Rudd becomes his caretaker,
Mhm.
and the crippled guy is like a maniacal asshole because he's just like thinks he's been given. Oh, he has. He takes his illness very like in a negative way.
Right.
And Paul Rudd and Selena Gomez help him find like a new, I don't know what to call it, a new outlook on life. It's really good. It's really funny too, and it's a Netflix movie, so it doesn't hold anything back.
Cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. Anyway.
It doesn't have to.
Sweet.
All right.
So
you wanted to talk about our next few weeks?
Yeah, leading up to the new year.
Yeah.
So today is a Tuesday. We're recording this, and I don't know when you're updating.
I'll put it out right now.
Okay. And then Thursday, in 2 days, we're going to see Aquaman.
Yep.
And then we're recording that Saturday.
Yep.
And then that'll go up like next Wednesday.
Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day.
25th is a Tuesday, I believe. So that'll go up Christmas Day, I believe. Yep, 7 days from now.
Okay, cool. And then the 30th, we'll do our end of the year awards because that's the last day of the year. That's when we record it. It'll go out like 2nd or something like that.
Yep. And me and you still need to develop what we're gonna do.
We'll have those for next week.
What we've talked about is for most of the categories we're gonna do top 3, and then each make our own thing and then argue for them and figure out what we as a podcast determine to be our top 3, and then we'll do top 5 for movies this year.
For our list of top 5 movies.
Top 5 movies of this year
movies
that we've seen.
Yeah. So this list for Aquaman, we're going to be doing our top 5 favorite actresses.
Yes. So that's the list for next week. So if you want to make top 5 favorite actresses
with our grading system.
Yeah, you can follow the grading system if you want or not. It's up to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just if you guys are listening, top 5 favorite actresses, compare and contrast.
Yep.
Should be cool.
And then the next week we'll do a top 5 movies of the year.
Yep.
And then we'll do all of our awards. I think. And
yeah, I mean the award show is basically going to be a list show, like where we just talk about stuff that happened this year. So it's not going to follow the normal.
It's not going to be boring either. We'll have some fun ones in there. Or
absolutely.
Worsts.
Yeah, we're going to make some funny shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just going to be like the Oscars, like, and the award for best score goes to
a movie no one has seen.
best foreign movie. It's like 7 Days in Afghanistan or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I loved that one. I loved watching. What are you talking about?
Anyway, and so we're recording,
and we're definitely doing some Razzies, like the worst.
Yeah, definitely. So this Saturday, I'm bringing your Christmas present.
Oh, lit.
Yeah.
While we're recording.
We'll open on air.
Crap. I don't know when yours is gonna get here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. I'll try to have it by Saturday.
Okay, that's fine. If not, just do what you have before. Picture of it.
Oh, I've always done that.
Yeah.
You just put a picture in a box and let them run around.
Yep.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
See, I'm used to giving it to you after Christmas, so that's why I just waited a little bit.
I understand. Well, I was saying, I want to do it like on air.
On air.
I mean, we could wait till 30th.
That's lame.
Yes.
Because this one's going out on Christmas.
So it's like.
So it's actually Christmas. Okay, cool. Okay.
All right, cool.
All right. I saw a clip from Psych the other day. I think it was. Oh, I know exactly what it said. Colonel Crunch is here to see you.
We watched
Colonel
that episode
Crunch
today.
Walked in. He goes, actually, I've been promoted to captain. Thank you very much. I literally almost died.
Yeah, because we actually watched that episode today.
Yeah.
And there was the Civil War reenactment. He said, "There's a Lieutenant Crunch here to see you." Lieutenant Crunch. And he walks in and said, "I've actually been promoted. It's Captain Crunch now."
It's the best.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Adios, friend. Go
Goodbye.
see Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
# wish we were
wanna see it
sponsored by it. You say you want to see it again?
Yeah.
I really do too.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably go by myself if Megan doesn't go.
I'd
Straight
go
up.
again with you.
Would you?
Yeah.
Lit. All right. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.